The Blue Mosque or the Sultan Ahmet Mosque is one of Istanbul's most iconic historic sites and an essential part of the city's skyline with its six magnificent minarets captured by tourist lenses 1,000 times over on a daily basis. The historic religious complex also exudes one of Istanbul's most reverberating calls to prayer 6 times a day. After the Peace of Sitwatorek, which ended the 15 years war between the Ottoman Empire and the Habsburg monarchy, and the empire's loss in the 1603-1618 war with Persia, Sultan Ahmad I was looking for ways to boost morale. The Sultan Ahmed Mosque, built between 1609 and 1616, was meant to reassert Ottoman power, even though Ahmad I had to procure funds from the treasury, since his lack in victory also meant a lack in spoils of war. The Blue Mosque, with its 5 main domes, 6 minarets and 8 secondary domes, is considered the classical period's last great mosque. The architect Sedefkar Mehmed Ega combined Byzantine Christian and traditional Islamic architecture elements for a work of overwhelming size and splendor. Footwears are not allowed inside the mosque. Hence, we have to remove the footwear and cover the feet with a plastic cover available at the entrance. Ladies have to cover their head minus face with a scarf available at one of the kiosks in front of the mosque, or they can bring their own scarf. This is to be strictly followed.
I'll tell it. First information. Otherwise you can leave. Okay, Blue Mosque, as I've mentioned, but I've heard some of you were sleeping. But the reason to call it Blue Mosque is the common color in the decoration.
No, I can't hear
Interior decoration. The blue mosque.
Blue color.
Blue color. The name comes from blue color, and blue color comes from the decoration. If you can have a look at the tiles. By an artist or by a workshop. So they're all separately produced. And just produce one of the tiles takes at least 2 months. And in here. So for years long they did produce the tiles in all workshops in Iznik for the mosque. And the balcony we see. Balcony is the ladies' section. So inside of the mosques, Turkish mosques. I know in India also ladies.
No, they can't enter.
In the Turkish Muslim mosques, there is ladies for ladies. So men and women, they pray at the same time, at the same area, but separately. So that's the ladies' area. It's like a U, a balcony, just for ladies, and this floor was for the or is the common color is, and also these are not original carpets because this is a mosque built by the sultans, by the royals. If they were being built, everything had to be the best. So they had those best carpets which were woven in the country in here. But every day, thousands of people are walking on them. This is not something easy to be preserved. That's why they are taken out. That's why we have
was blue in color.
Yes, and we don't have them anymore, and we do have those machine-made carpets, and they are being replaced every couple of years.
Now we have to call it a swing mosque. Swing mosque.
The red mosque, okay. And the tiles you see around, they are original. They are all original from early 17th century, and they were produced in Istanbul. That's the ceramic pottery and tiles production center, Iznik. It's just 1.5 hours to here, and they were producing the tiles with a secret formula. And even the Ottomans, they lost the formula after a while until 1996. Later on, they got the chemical analysis of the original pieces. Now they can reproduce, but only a couple of workshops can produce it as nice. Iznik, they are not made out of white clay. They are not regular ceramics. They do have 80-85% quartz in their mold. So they are very shiny and in perfect color still after hundreds of years. They're very durable, that technique was, and we do have them still on the walls and all original. If you can have a look at them, they are just like framed paintings next to the important wall. That's why it's much more ornamented compared to the other walls. We cannot see all the walls, but still the colored stained glasses, more colored stained glasses are on the front wall. It's the most important wall because it does have the mihrab. Mihrab is name of the unit just in the middle. The one in the middle with golden colors and does have a niche in it. And that is mihrab, shows people direction to Mecca. So all the Muslims, they should face to Mecca while they are praying, and when we come to the mosque, there is mihrab in the middle of the front hall, and we are facing to mihrab to Mecca. If you can have a look at those carpets, those are new carpets, but there are dark red lines on the carpets, you can see.
They sit, I think.
People, those are just like the lines. People are standing next to each other in a certain line. They are touching by the shoulders, and all of them are facing to mihrab. Sure, it's separate. Men are here, women are up there. And second important unit is mimbar. It's the one on the right hand side. You're going to see it better while we are walking around. It's the one just next to mihrab on the side, the triangle unit. It's like the pulpit of the mosque. It's the place that speech were given to the people. And this area over here, like a little terrace, the marble area, that is Muezzin's lodge. Muezzin is the person who calls for prayers, and they used to climb all the way up to the minarets, the towers outside of the mosque.
What is the name of that?
Muezzin is the person who climbs up, and 5 times a day he's calling people. In the rest of the time, he was reading Quran in here, and his name is given to the area, the lodge of the Muezzin. So you always see somebody reading Quran in the Muezzin's lodge. And there is another separate area on our left corner in the balcony. That is Sultan's private area that they were praying. Not because they were spatial, not because they were royal, because they were because they just needed to be secured. Some of the caliphs, even caliph is, have you heard the word caliph?
Yes, caliph.
The caliphs and some of the sultans, they were attacked or murdered while they were praying. I'm sure you know how the Muslims do pray. It's by going to the floor, bending. It's impossible to control what's going behind you. As being a sultan, he had to be protected. So he was going in there.
Royal place.
All lot of blue, you can see. When we go to Hagia Sophia, we are going to see the structure